And good evening, everybody, and welcome. Welcome back. It's been a while for Tier 2, but Tier 2 is back. We saw Tier 1 on Monday night, start of Season 7 for SAFRL Tier 1. Now we're here to do it all again. This time for Tier 2, different set of drivers, 16 drivers on the grid as we had for Tier 1. Getting some predictions for pole position already early on. First one is a 17.9. The second one, well, it's a 17.3. Some more 17.9, 17.7. That's the predictions. Predictions within the 117s. But we won't know anymore until we see some cars out on track. And we have some cars out on track. We've got a Ferrari, we've got an AlphaTauri. Two Italian teams on the grid, the first ones to jump. Ferrari just ahead. That is the Ferrari of Andres. One of two Ferraris here tonight. His teammate sitting in the pits, that's Gotti. Right on board. What we saw on Monday night was a lot of penalties. Guys struggled to stay within the track limits on this track. Very wide circuit, very tempting to use all of the tarmac, use everything available. And sometimes you just go over that limit, throw the lap away, and you have to do it all over again. And this was getting some grass on the inside tyres, no harm, no foul. This was just an outlap. You really want to have those tyres in the perfect operating temperature before you start the lap. And Andres is going to go over the line, and he's going to be the first one to start a quick lap. It's going to be followed closely by Boinky, so those will be the two first time laps of the evening. A lot of fast guys out there. Try keep our eyes on everyone. This is Tylee Boy, Moller. One broken horse for Rockwell, missing a front wing, the entirety of that front wing, so he's going to have to come into the pits, and he does. This is Maggot in the only Alpine here tonight. We have seen in the past that somebody may squeeze into the lobby, so we may still get an extra driver or two, but as things stand, just these 16 drivers, no lap times yet. Let's go down to Andres, who was the first man to start a fast lap. And we'll soon find out if he's able to finish that fast lap or if he's invalidated it. Nope, he's going around the final corner, so this will be the first time lap of the evening. Let's see what it will be. Will it be straight into the 117s? No, it's a 118.8. Now, putting up the provisional pole, no one else has crossed the line. 118.5 goes to Maggot, he takes provisional pole by 3/10 of a second. The timing sheets are out to light up. I thought Boinky was on a fast lap. You can see his battery's fully charged up. Either decided to have two outlaps, or he wasn't happy with that first quick lap and backed out of it. Saved his battery to have another go. This is Boinky's in the AlphaTauri. Top Gun goes fastest, 18.4. We're still not seeing 17s, but I'm sure by the end of the session we either will or we'll be awfully close. This is Apmagozi looking for his first lap time. So I've Gotti. Lots of drivers yet to make a lap time. This is Apmagozi. This is the start of a quick lap. Let's see his battery charge is full. That's how you can tell if they're pushing or not. If that sitting on 100%, and they certainly aren't pushing. Provisional pole sitter, Top Gun. Not a comfortable lead, just a tenth of a second. He takes a trip through the gravel. Maggot P2, Andres P3. Spikes has gone over the line and gone P4, 118.9 is followed Gotzi. Did get a lap in, 119.0. And we have a new provisional pole sitter. It is Boinkies. Remember, he didn't get that first run. He backed out of it, went for the second run, and the second run was good enough to 18.403. It's just over 100. Into provisional pole. That front row is far from decided. Let's ride on board with the Williams. Zach Magosi still looking for that first timed lap of the evening. Goes around the penultimate corner, very easy to mess up the traction going into the final corner, but it looks like he got that just right. See what he can come up with. Zach Magosi, he's backed off over the line. Seemed like he backed off over the line. Magosi P10 for 122.1. And I think there's much more to come in that car. Seemed like he backed off. Andres back into the pits. Maggot back out on track. Boinky's also returning to the pits. Maggot will be the first of those top four to get back out there and try again. His first lap at 118.5. It's P3, but he's really not far away from P1. Just under a tenth. Some very close times so far. Still a lot of drivers looking for that first lap time. Wonder if any of these drivers are just having problems with track limits, having to redo their laps. Obviously it's not ideal. To get the most out of that soft rubber, you want to have one run, get into the pits and put on a new set of tyres. You don't want to be having 2 or 3 runs on the same set of tyres. And if you're getting invalidated laps, you just got to try and stay out there and at least set that benchmark. Chums on an outlap, Revolution on an outlap, and Rockstar also on an outlap. All 3 of those cars I just mentioned have no timed laps so far. Gotzi did get a lap time, but he's out there again. That lap time was a 19.0, good enough for P7. He's looking for an improvement already. He's on an outlap. This is Rockstar. Unless he's changed his name, I think that's a new driver. Go over the line to start his first time lap of the evening. And what a familiar view. Watching a Red Bull. Usually, Red Bull is right on top. Luckily these cars are set to equal. As the Red Bull drivers would have quite the advantage. Two Williams both inside the top 10. Acid Milk P9 at Ngozi P10, but those lap times are pretty far spread apart. Now Acid Milk goes up one position into P8. Boinky still tops the field. Top Gun P2, Maggot on an outlap. Andres. He's starting a quick lap right now, looking to improve 118.8. If he can find himself a 10th, he's going to go into provisional pole. So he really doesn't have to find that much. He'll be thinking about the last run he had, and he'll know very well if he's run wide somewhere, if he's not had the best traction somewhere, and he'll know exactly what part of the track that is, and he'll know where to improve. This is the Ferrari He has gone quicker. He has gone quicker in sector 1. He has gone quicker in sector 2. So let's keep our eyes on this lap. It's 118.8. We're going into the 117s. Maybe a stretch, but we know he just needs to find a 10th to go into pole position. But a 10th may not be enough. For 7.5 minutes remaining, there are going to be more laps, and these laps are going to keep coming down. So if you're going to take provisional pole, you'd like a nice little cushion. Let's see what Andres can come up with. Currently P4 with a 118.8. He does improve. It's a 118.0. I said a 17 was a bit of a stretch. He proved me wrong. 118 flat. And it seems like if you do want to take pole position tonight, well, you're going to have to be in the 117s. Best time 118.0. This is Boinkies. He held pole position for a while. He has now been demoted to P3. Andre just informing me that because he wasn't weirdly backing off on the start-finish line, he ran out of fuel. It's quite unfortunate. Then he had to do his entire outlap at slow speed. This is Boinkies on his second run. First run was an 18.4. Can he pop it into the 17s? Stays as an 18.4. Maggot back out on circuit. Going to P2. Look at that, he has gone quicker. We've missed that. That was he did an 18.2. Still not enough. And this is the fastest time. If these guys want to take that away from him, they're going to have to get into the 17s. This is Atmagozi, hopefully with enough fuel on board this time. That 122.1 is a benchmark time, which means if anybody behind him does not set the time, he won't finish in last place due to that banker. See, Rockwell has retired from the session. We saw him much earlier on in the session driving around with no front wing. Maybe deciding he's had enough of qualifying already, or maybe he had an incident that we missed. Certain shadows. This blue on the Alpine reminds me slightly of the Benetton in the 90s. Of course, that Benetton was powered by Renault. How many championships did Renault engines win in the 90s? I think it was 5 in 10 years. Pretty decent. But you look at Alpine and ask them what's happened. Went from being the best, fastest, most reliable engine in Formula 1 for an entire era to a team that's fighting for the final row on the grid. Alpine have a lot of work to do if they're going to correct the F1 project. It's Spikes. It's on an outlap. The only Aston Martin here tonight. So he's wanting to get good points. Carry the team. Get them some points in the constructors. Ooh, and some very fast driving around here. Almost looks like we're in the race. This is qualifying. Drivers looking for track position. Everyone wants to have... Ooh, and that's messy. That's messy. Top Gun getting racy in qualifying and just losing the back end. Went into the gravel. Now he's taking a trip over the grass. And he's going to go into the pits, as is the Red Bull in front of him. And those two just getting a little messy in qualifying, and that will have ruined any potential run they were on. They're going to have to get out there and have another go. They still have time to do it. 3.5, actually just 3 minutes remaining. Just can't hang around too much. Yeah, Top Gun was going purple, but at the end of that lap. Things just got a little too spicy. Wasn't able to hold on to the back end of the car. He's been pushed back into the pits, and I'm sure we're going to see him come out of the pits any moment because he does not have that much time. You've got to get back out there. Two Red Bulls, one in P11, the other one has not set a lap time. That remains the same. He'll be starting from P16. I think Rockwell might be starting from P16 because he retired from the session. Maggot is on an outlap, Boinkies is on an outlap, Tiley Boy currently in P5, he is on a quick lap. Another one on a quick lap is Spikes, as well as Welsh at the back of the field. Top Gun remains in the pits with just over a minute and a half to go. Will we see him emerge? No, we see a Red Bull emerge from the pits. I think Top Gun... Yeah, it's under a minute and a half. I think Top Gun has accepted this session. He will be starting from the second row unless anybody is able to improve. Let's see what Boinkies can do. He's still on what appears to be an outlap. His battery's fully charged, so that is an outlap. This is Spikes. Red Bull trying to stay out of the way there. And Welsh goes quickest. First 17 we've seen, and that was one of the predictions I saw in the comment section, 117.7. And will we see it come down any further? I saw a prediction of a 117.3. That still seems a way away. Ooh, and we've seen an incident. Welsh on the in lap, losing it. He'll be happy that was the in lap and not the fast lap. Andres on an out lap. He's going to have one more run. Get over the line before the checkered flag falls, and he'll have one more run. This car is going to be as light as it possibly can be. New tires, everything he has at his disposal. He's going to throw it down on the tarmac right now. And well, you know what, I shouldn't talk about these drivers. They don't seem to like it. Telling you the commentator's curse is real, folks. It's real. If you're ever not enjoying yourself, just text me and tell me to ride on board with you for a little bit, and your race probably won't go on for much longer. This is Boinkies, currently in P4. He's got a 118.2. Welsh is also out there on circuit looking to improve, but he's already got provisional pole to 117.7. He's on an in. Is he on an in lap? Well, he's just driving around with a broken wing. We'll ride with Boinkies. The only man in the top 5 on a fast lap. Next man on a fast lap is Gotsy in P8. It seems like Boinkies he's abandoned that lap as well. Nobody improving on their final run so far. This is Gotsy. Only now Gotsy and Revolution left on circuit. The checkered flag has fallen. So these will be the only two drivers with the opportunity to improve. One Ferrari, one McLaren. Revolution has a lot to improve. He's got a 22.0, but he's backed out of that. He's backed out of that as the McLaren. So the McLaren's not going to start any higher. And Gotsy as well, pulling into the pits. That is quite the strange occurrence. Nobody improving on that final run. Of course, that was qualifying. That was just a bit of fun and games. You want to be on top of that field just for the bragging rights. But at the end of the day, if you've watched this channel a lot, if you've watched the streams, you know very well, no matter your speed, no matter your strategy, It's all about what the race throws at you. You could be the quickest man in this field by a second a lap and still lose this race based on some safety car shenanigans. Welcome to Madwell. Also in the comment section, great to have you here. There is the qualifying results. Welsh taking pole position with a 1:17.7, and he's the only man in the 1:17s. Next best 1:18.0, that goes to Andries. They're followed by Moller and Maggot on the second row, Poinkies and Top Gun on the third row. Then it's Spikes, Gotzi, Acid Milk and Tylee Boy. They make up the top 10. Then we've got Gox in P11, Chums P12, Apmagozi 13, Revolution 14, and then no lap times from Rakwa and Rockstar. I seem to have muted myself, but we're back, and we haven't missed any action. You've probably just been looking at an empty pit lane for about 15 seconds while I was rambling to absolutely nobody. But luckily we're back in time for the race. And while we have this quiet moment, I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel. Channel's doing really well. And obviously it's all down to the viewers. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, and when it's 5 they're going to go out and we're going to be underway. And there's a pause and there they go. It's going to be AlphaTauri versus Ferrari versus Alfa Romeo. All Italian top 3 into turn 1. Can the Alpine ruin that for us? Looks like he has. Yes, he has. It's Ferrari, Alfa Romeo. Then we have an Alpine P3. That's Maggot. Top Gun P4. Field really close together on this first lap. No incidents so far that we can see. No major changes in positions that we can see. At those position changes, Andries, Moller, Maggot all making up a position. Welsh down into P4. Remember, he started on pole. He's joined his teammate P4, P5, that's the two AlphaTauris. Then Spikes P6, he's made up a position. Gotzi P7 also made up a position. Top Gun, he's down 1. Acid Milk, Tylee Boy starting, or they are where they started. Then Rakwa, Rockstar both making up 2 positions at the start of the race, and Revolution and Gox going to the back of the field. As for your tyres, seems like the medium compound is the most preferred choice. And congratulations to everyone in T2, you've made it a lap further than T1 made it. As far as safety cars go, we had a safety car on lap 1 and we're already on lap 2 without a safety car, so it seems to be a good start to the race. Chums. Ooh, things getting messy now between the 2 Mercedes. There's a Haas involved there. There's a Williams involved. Things just got messy. Seems like everybody's been able to hold on to their front wings and things are about to get messy again. Ooh, cars all over the circuit. Cars all off the circuit. A little bit of madness all over the back of the field here at the front. There's your pit stop strategies, looking at a 1-stop or a 2-stop. What will the drivers go for? Let me know in the comment section. Obviously we can't take too much away from Monday night because we had a safety car coming out every now and then and, well, effectively breaking everyone's strategy. That's not nice. Well, it's true. Doing pretty well on lap 2 without a safety car. I'm even impressed. I've sent safety car 3 times and it hasn't happened yet. Maybe let's just leave it at 3 times. Sets the fastest lap of the race. Now we've already got some guys coming into the pits. Who was that? That was Top Gun coming into the pits. Does he have damage to the car? He's coming in very early, just one lap on the mediums. Yes, he does. He's missing an end plate. Just on the left hand side. Such a small part of the wing really. But it really makes the car undrivable. These cars really built around downforce. And if you take that away, they become very difficult to drive. Speaking of difficult to drive, could just be an excuse. Michael Schumacher. Is it 1995? I think it was 1995. I might be mistaken. It could be 1994, but I'm pretty sure it was 95. Got a penalty in qualifying. Had to start in P16 in the rain in Belgium. Went on to finish P2 with a very serious gearbox problem. He only had 3rd and 5th. Later after the race, when he was asked how he was able to finish the race, he asked that when a driver is faced with a problem, you need to drive around it. Oh, thanks, Madwell. It's much appreciated. But I'm definitely not David Croft. Or nobody must ever compare me to Ted Kravitz, because well, that's an insult. You want to make me mad? You want to make me curse on the stream? Well, Ted Kravitz, that'll bring it out. Andres leads the way, 1.7 seconds. He's got a good lead now, very early on in the race, just 4 laps into it. He's way outside of DRS. As for Maggot, he's not as comfortable. He's just got the 0.7 of a second. Muller well within DRS range. Welsh also within DRS, as is Pointy. And he's got a bit of a gap down to Spikes in P6. Top 5 still relatively close together, except for your leader. But now Maggot bringing that back to 1.1 seconds. I wonder if Andres just made a bit of a mistake. Lost 0.4 very quickly. Now Maggot getting very... I'm looking at... Yes, Maggot, he's coming under pressure. He was looking at the wrong driver. It's Muller that's putting him under pressure. It's Maggot that's defending, and safety car. Well, nobody saw that coming, but at least they made it to lap 5. And as with every safety car, that is my reaction. Obviously now, we mentioned on Monday night that safety car came out on lap 1, and it's a pretty useless safety car. Unless you've broken a wing or you have some sort of damage on that initial lap, there's no need to come into the pits, there's no need to change strategies. This one is on lap 5. I don't think any of those top runners will come into the pits. We may have some of the runners towards the back of the field, the guys that are on soft tyres, may think, I'll go in, catch up to the queue, have a free pit stop. And we are seeing some cars coming into the pits. Apnogozi and Chums, the first 2 guys into the pits, and there we go. You can see the soft runners coming in, getting rid of those softs, going onto a set of mediums possibly, or onto a set of hards, taking it long into the race, hoping for another safety car. What the safety car does do, keeps everybody close together, and if you're really quick and you've got a great strategy, this is annoying. Andre reckons soft runners will be doing a 2-stop. But interestingly enough, your pole sitter was Welsh. See, he's down to P4. He started this race on a set of softs and he has chosen not to pit. Obviously the field was still very close together when that safety car came out, so if he had pit, he could have found himself at the back of the field or close to the back of the field. So he chose to stay out and hold on to track position. But when the safety car is over, how much longer can he take those tires? All the cars around him are either on mediums or hards, so they will be going much deeper into this race. And how long until Welsh's softs begin to fall off? Obviously the Australian Grand Prix has been on the calendar for a very long time. It was held here at Albert Park on and off in the 50s and 60s. And the Grand Prix went away for a while, came back in a more permanent status when we joined the Adelaide circuit. Adelaide was sometimes towards the end of the year, sometimes it was the finale in 1994, 1995. It was the finale. Much tighter, technical street circuit. Albert Park also a street circuit, a partial street circuit. And we've been at Albert Park since 1996, with the exception of the famous 2020 and 2021. When we get going again, Andries will lead the way from Maggot, followed by Moller. We're going to have Welsh and Boinkies P4, P5. I wonder if those Aston Martins, I wonder if those AlphaTauris will swap positions, because Welsh is on the softs. Boinkies planning on going longer into the race. And from a team perspective, if Boinkies does have the pace, it's definitely worth it to let him go. If Welsh is able to use those softs and make up a few positions before he has to pit. But either or, they need to figure out what it is they're going to do. Don't want a messy restart. Safety car's gone into the pits. And now Andries gets us back underway. We'll keep our eyes on these leaders as they go into turn one. They're pretty close together, but the Alpine's not going to do anything silly. Stays behind the Ferrari. Andries leads from Maggot, Moller P3, and then the AlphaTauris P4 and 5. Already a little bit of a gap starting to form between Spikes and Tylee Boy. Tylee Boy doesn't want that gap to get too big, needs to keep him within DRS. When you're in DRS, you can technically be 2 or 3 tenths slower than your opponent and still keep up with him, because he's dragging you around. Once you fall out of DRS, well, then that 2 or 3 tenths really starts to count against you. The AlphaTauris have not swapped positions. Looks like Welsh has the pace on his teammate for now. But we've got to keep our eyes on those softs. And let me know, guys, in the comment section, what is the what would you say is the limit on those softs? And well, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just gonna. There we go. There we go. I don't need to say anything. There we go. Sure. The safety car is going to have to refuel pretty soon. A lot of cars coming into the pits, making changes. Andres out on track. Atmagozi has not made a pit stop, so he's going to restart this race in P2. He's got a fresh set of mediums on that car, so he's not coming into the pits. It's going to have a very interesting restart. Chums P3, Milk P4. He's already got a penalty next to his name. We've got two drivers with penalties next to their names. Rockstar in P14, he's got 3 seconds next to his name, and ouch, Acid Milk, he's up to 11. I'm going to presume that is 2 penalties for track limits and 1 penalty for a pit lane infringement of some kind. That 5 seconds can be served at his next pit stop, or it will be added on at the end of the race. I know the tier 2 guys, they're competitive. They're competitive. And if tier 1 goes out there and gets 3 or 4 safety cars, well, they want to beat tier 1. Luckily for us, the game does limit it at 5. Not so long ago we saw a Belgian Grand Prix where the car that technically led the most laps was the safety car. Yes, 3 safety cars. Andre making sure I don't say it was 4 or 5. But no. It's just the 3. Obviously this is round 1, so all slates have been cleaned. Constructors Championship, Drivers Championship, everything to play for. And we're under safety car lap 10 of 29. Obviously after this, next week we set off to another familiar track when it comes to season openers. And actually the season opener for the past few seasons. So next week we're going to Bahrain. Track everyone knows well. Some drivers love it. Some drivers, they can't stand it. And if you've ever wondered why the Bahrain circuit in the middle of the desert doesn't actually get that much sand on it, that's because the weekend before the Grand Prix, the sand gets glued. Safety car pulls off into the distance and we're going to be underway again. This time Andres gets a fantastic restart. Very nice restart. He's going to have a 1 second lead by the time he goes over the start finish line. Now Apmagozi, he's in P2. We said that earlier. He's going to be in P2 at the restart. And then Acid Milk in P3. To Williams. They'd love things to end like this. If it was a safety car with 1 lap to go, they might be able to hold on to it, but how much longer will they be able to hold on to it? So far, Ngozi is doing a fantastic job. Holding on to that Ferrari. Look at that, almost coming now within DRS. Remember, 4 DRS zones on this circuit. Made a few changes to this layout not so long ago, 2021 I believe. And it's made this track far more enjoyable. It's created more overtaking opportunities. It's made what was a great track even better. It's a great track from a watching perspective. From a driving perspective, I'd probably prefer to be somewhere else. In fact, I'm so bad at this track, I think I'd probably even go to Monaco rather. At least in Monaco, my race will end very quickly. I won't have to go through the pain. Andres still leads the way up. Ngozi P2, Acid Milk P3. That order has remained the same. 3-second penalty, and we've got, is that a Williams? Yes, that is a Williams. Acid Milk going off the circuit, heavily crashes. We briefly get a caution, but luckily for me and for the viewers and for the Sergio Perez gif, safety car stays away. Ngozi, he was P2 and P3, the two Williams. He has since lost his teammate, but he's in P2 and he's driving like a man possessed. Absolutely all over the back of that Ferrari, 0.4 of a second. Next time he gets DRS, surely. Will he go for it? Will he play it safe? We'll find out soon enough. He's going on to the main straight now. That gap 0.6 of a second, 0.7 of a second, still within DRS. He's going to bring that gap down before the end of the straight, but he's not going to be close enough to pass. When you get on that straight, you really need to be 2 or 3 tenths behind the driver if you hope to make a safe pass into turn 1. Maybe 4 or 5 tenths if you're feeling a little brave on the brakes. But the last thing we want is disasters into turn 1. Ngozi leads the way. No, he doesn't. He leads the way from Welsh. But who leads the way is Andres. Andres leads the way from Ngozi. Welsh P3, Maggot P4, and Moller is making up the top 5. There is Moller. Tiley Boy not far behind. A lot of these drivers, they're under pressure. Maggot and Welsh. Welsh wins that battle, does he? There's a bit of contact, but Ngozi is able to hold his momentum, but now he's going to come under pressure from Maggot. Defends the position, does he? Nicely done. Shut the door, but he's not going to be able to defend for much longer. Cars go side by side and Maggot gets in front just as they go over the start finish line, and he'll be well in front by the time they get to turn 1. Ngozi down to P4. He's fallen off that podium. And now Maggot is going to be looking to close up to the top 2, who've been able to get away just a little. Andres, on the other hand, hasn't been able to get away from Welsh. That gap just 0.4 of a second. We have a 1 second gap down to Maggot in P3. Watch if he can close that gap while these two battle each other. Of course, when you're battling somebody, you're not thinking about all-out pace. You're thinking of that other car. It just breaks your concentration. It can slow you down just a few tenths a lap, and that'll be enough to bring the opponents behind you right back into the race. Of course, the gaps haven't been big because we've had 2 safety cars which have brought this field back together. Moller, is he lining up the Williams? Is he thinking about it? Remember, I said you need to be really close at the start of the straight. He is really close at the start of the straight, just 0.3 of a second. Just doesn't look like he's got enough to get past the Williams. Wonder if Ngozi just losing a bit of battery there. Moller opened up the DRS and there was almost no effect. He could not make up any time there on the straight, but now he has made the position and he did it around the outside. He didn't do it where we thought he was going to do it on the main straight. He made it look even more impressive. Moller up into P4, and your podium positions are Welsh, Andries and Maggot. At the back of the field, Rockstar 14th. This is Acid Milk. He was in P3 not so long ago, now down to P13. Got the pair of Haas drivers, 11 and 12, Top Gun and Rockwell. Then the second of the Mercedes chums, there he is, P11. Revolution seems to be ghosting. That's not good. We'll watch that car, see if it starts dropping down the order. With Spikes in P8 and Boinkies. You can see Boinkies is at the back of a DRS train. And positions swapping around. Maggot P2, Moller P3, Akmagozi still holding on to P4, doing a good job. Those are 10-lap-old mediums. So definitely not going to be a race to the end for him. He's going to have to make another pit stop. But what he will be thinking in the back of his head is, how long can I take these mediums? And then if a safety car comes out at the right moment, he could save himself a pit stop. This is Spikes, P7, getting very close to the walls. Just because you're in P7 doesn't mean you're driving quickly, doesn't mean you're driving slowly. These guys are all pushing. Saw how close that Aston Martin got to the wall there on the inside. Got to use all of the racetrack. Sometimes all it takes is getting a wheel on the grass, and that's the end of that. Obviously here at Albert Park, there's corners that can be quite forgiving, have a lot of runoff area. And then there are other corners that are not so forgiving, and the wall is not far away. Andries, he went on to a set of hard tyres. Thanks for pointing that out, Andre. He's now in P7. And these tyres will surely take him to the end of the race. So he's not planning any more pit stops. And all the drivers in front of him have 8-lap-old tyres. 3 of those drivers on mediums, 3 of those drivers on hards. But surely all of those drivers will need to pit, or they're going to have, it can only be described as very dodgy tyres at the end. This is Andries. Keep our eyes on this time as he catching Spikes ahead of him. For the time being, no, he's just dropping a little further back, 7.8, 7.9. Touched 8 seconds for a moment. He's got to start closing that gap, reeling them back in. When they do make their pit stops, there will be no question. He will go into the lead of this race. People are trying to confuse me. I'm getting IndyCar notifications while I'm trying to broadcast an F1 race. If anybody saw the lap comparison under virtual safety car, if anybody saw the lap comparison between a Formula 1 car and an Indy car around the circuit of COTA, they would have seen that the lap difference was something like 23 seconds. It's quite remarkable. The F1 car's got a top speed of approximately 360 km an hour. The Indy car has a top speed which we don't see on the oval track or on the street tracks because they don't have enough time to get to that top speed. But if they did, the Indy car has a top speed of 385 kilometers an hour. It's technically quicker than the F1 car. That just shows the downforce effect, the being the F1 cars, can corner so much quicker, and over a lap, it really counts. We are on a virtual safety car, but it's been a pretty lengthy virtual safety car. Some guys making use of it, going into the pits. The virtual safety car has ended, and Moller back underway. Boinky's P2, Tylee Boy P3, those top three, they're all on hard tyres, all of them 10 laps old. Now Welsh is on a set of mediums, brand new mediums. Andries behind him, 8.7 seconds. I think Welsh really got lucky there on the virtual safety car, because he's made a pit stop up into P4, and well, what can we say? You guys are even, okay? You each got 3 safety cars, you're even. You can stop with the competitiveness, stop with the safety cars. You've equaled tier 1. There's no need to beat them. Hopefully the last 8 or 9 laps of this race will be DNF free. Although we know DNF isn't the only thing that triggers a safety car. Not sure what league I was commentating on, but the driver got disqualified. I think it was in Monza, for getting beached on a curb. Timer started coming down, and this driver could not accelerate, he could not reverse. He was perfectly beached on a curb. He got disqualified, and just to put the cherry on top, it somehow activated a safety car. Andries coming into the pits, he only had 3 laps on those hards. So he's deciding another strategy. Tylee Boy in the pits, Boinky's in the pits, Moller in the pits, Welsh stays out. But remember, he pit 1 lap ago, so he's got a brand new set of mediums. They're 1 lap old, they haven't worked very hard because they were under virtual safety car and now safety car. So they're practically brand new, and he's going to be in a very strong position at the restart. He is going to come under pressure from Moller. Moller's got a set of softs, and he's the only one in that top of the field that went for the soft tyre. I think everybody else may have used their allotment of soft tyres. There's 9 laps to go to the end of the race, but we may still have 1 more lap of safety car. So that means you're only going to have 8 laps on that soft. You can probably throw everything at it and not really worry too much about tyre life, tyre management. So while I think Welsh is in a fantastic position, Moller has the potential to put him under extreme pressure in the final stint of this race. Somebody the other day asking about 100% races, well, we wouldn't even be at the halfway mark. Commentating on a 100% race, it's not so bad. Gives me more of an opportunity to speak rubbish. But as for endurance racing, it's going to take some convincing to get me in the comms box for that. Longest one for me was a 9 hour. And I don't intend on doing that again. Kyalami 9 hour, may I add, where 12 of the 20 competitors had serious damage after turn 1. Because the driver who started in P20, well, he thought he could make it into P8 on turn 1. And he did. He just, he left a lot of cars in his path. Stream started off very slow, but now we're getting some viewers. Guys joining towards the end of the race, lap 21 of 29. We are under the third safety car of the evening, matching Monday night. Now the field is pretty close together. I think that's a Williams or an Alpine. It's a Williams at the back of the field. So now we'll see, will the safety car wait for Acid Milk to catch up? Have one more lap under safety car, or will we get confirmation? Seems like that Williams should catch the queue in the next few corners, so if we do get confirmation, it's going to be a very late confirmation. And it is a late confirmation. Just on the penultimate corner, safety car in this lap. Usually it gives you more of a warning. Now Welsh just has the penultimate corner, now the final corner. When will he go? Remember, he's the leader, he can decide when to go. Nobody can make an overtake till the start-finish line. And it looks like Welsh is leaving it right to the end. Moller almost going side by side with the leader. Remember, you cannot make a pass, otherwise you get an immediate penalty. You have to give the position back, or you get an immediate penalty. Welsh leads the way. Moller P2, Boinkies P3, looking to make it an AlphaTauri 1-2. Just a bit of a jump there on the screen. Always get a bit of a fright when the internet does funny things. Looks like a crash for a moment, and then it's not. Boinky's P3, his teammate up in P1. Moller splits the AlphaTauris. Of course, I said the 3 Italian teams. There is no 3 Italian teams. Ferrari and AlphaTauri are Italian. Alfa Romeo was only Italian in name. Of course, there was nothing Alfa Romeo in that car. It's a Sauber, and Sauber is based in Switzerland. The only Swiss team on the F1 grid. If you didn't know this already, Sauber made their debut in Formula 1 at Kyalami. Sauber's first ever race was at Kyalami. And that race also saw the return of the Mercedes engine. First year of Sauber in Formula 1. They were known as Sauber Mercedes-Benz. Completely black car, no sponsors. Just the Merc badge on the engine cover. And for a private team, 32 years, it's a pretty good run. Only Williams and McLaren have lasted longer than that as private teams. Safety car came to an end, but then it came right out again. So what this will do is it's going to neutralize the race even longer. We're going to have more laps behind the safety car. Field is going to stay really close together, and then when we do get going, we're going to have a sprint to the finish line. And if you're one of the drivers who finds himself there at the top, in the top 5, even in the top 6 or 7, remember, this field is so close together. Really, it's just about putting the car in the right part of the racetrack for the last 3 or 4 laps. And a race that you thought may have been gone a few laps ago, you might land up winning or land up on the podium. Said it at the beginning of the race, strategies are important, but every single driver needs to bear in mind there's a very good chance that strategy's not going to go the way you planned. If you're planning on pitting on lap 17, you're probably not going to get to lap 17 without any sort of break in the race. So So you've got to have your strategy, and you've got to have an idea of what you're going to do if things go wrong. As one of the slower drivers at the rear of the field, safety cars are a godsend. Every time you think the race is slipping away, it gives you that opportunity to come back into the race. If you're at the front and you're quick, you don't want this. You want to be extending your gaps, you want to be using your new tires to their full potential. Instead, you're driving around what would otherwise be a very quick Mercedes-Benz, but when you compare it to a Formula 1 car, well, when you compare it to a Formula 1 car, it's really not that impressive. We are watching the cars drive around behind this safety car. This is the fourth safety car of the evening. Welsh leads the way from Moller, Boinkies, Tylee Boy P4 and Andris P5. Anyone in that top 5. It's looking very, very strong. Remember, Moller is the only one in the top 7 on a set of softs. Those softs may be 5 laps old, but most of those laps were not at racing speed, so they should still have a lot of life in them. I'm sure the safety car will be in this lap. The whole field is together, lap 25 of 29. So when we get going, it will be lap 26 of 29. Means we're going to get a 3-lap sprint. After all that qualifying, after all the passing, all the DRS zones, all the strategy and all the pit stops, it all comes down to a 3-lap sprint. Guys say they don't like doing 5-lappers, there's no point. Well, maybe. It's the perfect practice. A lot of these sprint races towards the end of feature races. Here we go. Safety car pulls off into the distance, and this will be the final restart of the race now. Obviously not enough time for another safety car. It usually cuts that out with 3 laps to go, and we've hit that limit. So Welsh, Moller very close, very close. We saw that at the last restart. So important not to pass. You can get side by side, but you got to keep that nose behind. And Welsh leads into turn 1, Moller P2. He's got that soft tyre. And he's going to be thinking, surely I've got this. It's getting very close. Look at that. Putting all sorts of pressure. We'll see when he comes out of the corner. Does he have the superior grip? Yes, you can see just coming out of the corner, he's a little bit more comfortable. But the moment those mediums get up to temperature, they're going to be able to go longer into the race. For the time being, those softs are fresh. They are new. There shouldn't be any issues on them. Guys haven't been driving around at racing speed. And now, side by side, he's going to have the inside for the next one. And he's done just enough, and not to take the AlphaTauri's front wing with him. Moller into the lead of the race with that soft compound of tyre, and he'll be hoping that that soft compound of tyre is able to hold together towards the end of the race, because he's got 2 very racy AlphaTauri's just behind him. Those teammates are in communication and they are able to work together. They could dispose of the Alfa Romeo. Moller will know that. There's 2 teammates behind him. He'll want to get away, get up the road. But so far, team of the night has to go to the AlphaTauri's. Maggot picks up a penalty. It's going to be a dangerous penalty for him because he's only in 9th place. And at the end of the race, with so many safety cars, gaps haven't been able to spread out. So if you have a penalty or multiple penalties next to your name, you could land up finishing the race empty-handed with no points. But obviously there's a lot of penalties there. Let's just try and get an idea of what those penalties are. It's 3 seconds apiece for Maggot, Spikes, Andries and Tylee Boy. And then Acid Milk, Top Gun, they're on 6 seconds. And Revolution at the back of the field, he's on 5 seconds. A few other drivers have had penalties, but they have since retired from the race. We have a caution. And luckily it's late enough in the race for the caution to simply disappear. Moller leads the way. Welsh right behind him. Boinkies right behind his teammate. Top 3 close together. Then there's a bit of a gap down to P4. Tylee Boy having to do some defense of his own if he wants to hold on to P4. Andries all over the back of that car. Just bring back your tyre screen. As you can see, everyone there from P2 down to P7 on a set of mediums. And as I say that, Top Gun takes P7. Ruins my whole monologue. Thanks for that. There we go. He splits the 2 Mercedes-Benz. Now Apnogozi, Acid Milk, they've been split by Top Gun. That Haas is on the move, but is he going to have enough time till the end of the race? Apnogozi, no penalties next to his name, and this could be crucial. If the gaps don't open up, he wants to stay within 3 seconds of those cars in front of him. They have penalties. Moller leads the way, Welsh P2. Then we get a crazy move towards the end of the race. Death Queen saying she misses the Orange Army. It was quite the error. Now we just have the one McLaren on track. The other McLaren didn't make it to the race, so we just have the one McLaren entry. Currently outside the points in P11 with a penalty next to his name. Andries sets the fastest lap of the race. Has he left it too late, or has he timed it perfectly? Look how close those top 4 are. Who's it going to be? I wish I had more monitors. Try and keep our eyes on all these drivers. Welsh just briefly looked like he was going to the inside, just trying to show Moller the front wing. Moller will already be under a lot of pressure, but he's just trying to add to that pressure. He'll know he's there, he can hear the motor, but he just wants to every now and then put that front wing in the mirror. Now they go side by side. Welsh comes out on top. Lap 29 of 29, he goes purple in sector 2, and Welsh into the lead of this race. I don't think Moller's got anything to come back at him with. Moller now needs to also bear in mind, as much as he wants that first place back, he's got another AlphaTauri on his tail. Crucially for the top 3, no penalties. And Welsh, he has timed this perfectly. And he's done exactly what he wanted to do in round 1. Moller just ahead of Boinkies. It was almost an AlphaTauri 1-2. Can't get any closer than that over the line. Apnogozi over the line in P5. That's a great result. Tylee Boy P6. Maggot P7. All the penalties now just changing the order up and down. I'll wait for the official results. And they'll be on our screen shortly. Chums takes the Driver of the Day award. And there we go. There's your podium. 2 AlphaTauris and an Alfa Romeo. P1 goes to Welsh. Very nicely done. He didn't get the fastest lap of the race though. So just the 25 points. Then Moller P2, Boinkies P3, Andries just off the podium with the fastest lap of the race, so he's going home with 13 points. Apmagwazi in the top 5, very nicely done, great way to start the season. Tylee Boy P6, Chums P7, and then Maggot, Top Gun and Acid Milk taking up the last 3 points paying positions. Outside of the top 10, we've got Spikes P11, Prevolution P12, and no one else finished. 4 drivers in the DNF column. That was a Rockstar. I believe that's Gox and Gotzi. Some of these names, very confusing. Right guys, I want to thank everybody who joined us on the stream, everyone who joined us on Monday, and I've seen some of the same names here again on Wednesday night. So thanks for all the continued support. We will be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we'll be back with DRS, and then obviously on Sunday we're back with SKR. So the racing is not slowing down, the uploads are not slowing down, and the subscribers keep on growing just a little bit every week. So thank you to everybody who's watched. Thank you to everybody who's joined me, put up with my rambling. And I'll be back soon, and I hope to see you back soon. But till then, cheers.